Good evening to everyone out there in Cartoon Land. Welcome back, JohnnyNoName. We are going to be reviewing a game in this video. You'll notice we don't review games here. This one I felt compelled to do so. So, it being my first one, please be nice. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think and tell me I'm pretty. Okay? Okay? After nearly 4 years of waiting, the follow-up to Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is finally here. After putting in close to 150 hours, I feel that I'm finally ready to review this game, and simply put, I think that this game is a masterpiece. The story continues straight on from Final Fantasy VII Remake, where the party have left Midgar and have now entered the vast world of Gaia. We get a great introduction to the game with an alternate timeline where Zack is still alive and helps Cloud get to Midgar. There is then a brief gameplay sequence and Zack manages to rescue Aerith, who has fallen into a coma. We then cut to the main timeline where Cloud is informing the party about the incident that happened in Nibelheim 5 years ago and what sent Sephiroth down the dark path he has taken. I'm not going to talk too much about the main plot to avoid major spoilers, but know that the team embark on a global adventure to track down Sephiroth, which is similar to the original game despite some story alterations here and there. For those that played the original, you'll know what to expect with regards to locations such as Calm, Junon, Costa del Sol, Corel, Gungaga, Gold Saucer, Nibelheim, Temple of the Ancients and the Forgotten Capital for the finale. I feel like the graphics in this game speak for themselves. This is a beautiful game with some of the best cutscene I've ever seen. I said seen twice.
It's beautiful!
Obviously, the pre-rendered scenes are just on a whole other level, but the in-game scenes have a seamless transition we are all used to at this point.
Oh, hey. Perfect timing.
I think the developers set a new bar for the various locations and how they've taken the more simplistic design from the PS1 era and brought them into the new current generation.
Wish I could help, but never been motion sick. Sorry, man. Ready to do this?
Yeah, you bet.
My jaw would drop upon entering new locations, and I found I would just stare at the pure splendour that was on display.
Wow. Just look at it all. It's so green. A living, breathing planet.
I think is a testament to the love and passion Square has for Final Fantasy VII, and it shines through constantly while playing the game. The music, once again, is some of the best I've ever heard in a game, full stop. The vast array of tracks, from the sweeping orchestral medleys, frenetic battle themes and the calm town music, all add so much to the experience, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention what an incredible soundtrack this game has. Especially considering that over 400 tracks were composed for this game, which is actually mind-boggling to consider. There's one chocobo racing theme in particular that plays during a side quest that caught me off guard, considering how hard it goes. Apparently, it's a remix of a theme from Final Fantasy XIII and is an absolute banger. Enjoy. Some one-off tracks that you'll only get to hear when you do certain side quests or activities, which is just further incentive not to pass them up, as some of these tracks are the best in the game. So the gameplay loop here is similar to that of Final Fantasy Remake for anyone that's played it, but for the uninitiated, it's a mixture of real-time combat with strategic elements that hit those nostalgia bubbles of the turn-based system from the original. You use basic attacks to fill up your ATB charges, which can then be used to perform different abilities, cast spells or use items. The other party members you aren't controlling build ATB slowly, so it's important to keep cycling through your characters so that you are always ATB charged. Some abilities are useful for dealing damage, while others greatly increase an enemy's stagger bar. This is a bar beneath the enemy's health that, when filled, will render them briefly stunned, where you are able to deal 1.6 times damage. And this number can be increased further by Tifa's unbridled strength ability, which I use very frequently.
Go on! I can do that again.
When you pressure an enemy, their stagger bar increases much more quickly, so it's always a good idea to assess the fiends you're fighting to figure out the best strategy for defeating them. Some may become pressured when hit with multiple abilities or by using a spell element that they are weak against. Each weapon you come across throughout the game will have an associated ability that comes with it. Initially, to use said ability, you have to have that weapon equipped, but upon mastering it, that ability can then be used with any of that character's other weapons. Every weapon has slots that can be used for placing upgrades from a list. This can include anything from more damage for your attacks, more magic attack power, or help you build ATB faster. The other key component to this is materia, which allows you to cast various spells like fire, blizzard, thunder and arrow, but also has numerous other usages based on the type. There are 4 materia types: green, blue, yellow and purple. Green allows you to cast various elemental spells mentioned earlier, as well as bio, quake and haste. Blue are useful when linked with green, such as the blue materia elemental. When combined with fire, then allows your attacks to have fire element tacked onto them, or you can resist damage from said elemental depending on whether you equip it to your weapon or armor. Yellow adds various moves to your arsenal, such as assess, so you can see what enemies are weak to, along with the best way to pressure them. You also have other moves like steal, morph and jump. Purple consists of various buffs that are always active, such as greatly filling ATB bar when you stagger a fiend, blocking attacks, or adding to your HP or MP overall stats. One of the new mechanics introduced in Final Fantasy Rebirth's combat are the all new synergy skills and abilities. These are all new moves that allow 2 party members to team up for a combo attack. These moves also result in enemy becoming stunned. These abilities also come with one of 4 bonuses on top of them. One that will allow you to raise limit levels or extend the amount of time opponent is staggered, while yet another unlimited MP for casting spells for a limited time, and fourth can give you a third ATB bar which reduces the overall size of the bar, making the build of the ATB bar less of an issue in battle. How it works is that upon executing an ATB ability with synergy bar next to it, you build up your synergy gauge represented by the bars underneath your health. You'll need to have 3 bars for both characters that will be taking part in the synergy ability. The skills aren't as flashy or as damaging as the abilities can be, but you can use them whenever you desire. One such skill propels Tifa into the air to be able to attack flying enemies, which otherwise might be a hassle. Other skills range from one party member defending another party member to Cloud redirecting Barrett's bullets at enemies. Whereas Final Fantasy VII Remake was a linear experience, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth introduces massive explorable regions where the player can take part in a huge, and I mean huge, amount of side quest activities. Traversing these areas becomes easier once you have unlocked the chocobo in the said area. Each area's chocobo has different traversal skills it uses to navigate, from climbing up cliff sides, bouncing off giant mushrooms, gliding through the air, or using jet stream of water as a propellant to fly around. I was overall very impressed by just how much the developers expanded on the linear style of Final Fantasy VII Remake to make these vibrant, colourful open areas to explore. Beyond basic traversal, you'll be taking part in a vast number of side quests, including activating towers, hello Ubisoft, fighting various fiends with additional objectives, locating shrines for various summons, and locating lifestream crystals that reveal information about the region and help with the number of side quests as well. There is just so much to do in the 6 open world regions that it's almost quite overwhelming if you do plan on trying to complete 100% of the game for that platinum trophy. Especially towards the end, where I was trying to finish off a bunch of side quests and minigames when all I really wanted to do was get back to the main story to see how everything played out. All in all, after finishing everything I wanted to, including post-game content, I spent close to 150 hours with the game, and I loved just about every minute, so you definitely get your money's worth in that regard.
It's true.
I do want to discuss the spike in difficulty when you do gather the courage to tackle playing through hard mode if you are going to go for that platinum trophy. This can be ridiculously frustrating at times, but playing on normal will give you the know-how to making characters stronger, perfecting materia to defeating enemies, as well as pressure and stagger strategies. But you've been warned, even with all that, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but I believe in you.
I'm gonna kill myself! Wow. I'm going to kill myself, and it's your fault!
You win!
Almost lost my cool there.
The original Final Fantasy VII is known for having a wide variety of minigames, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has a massive variety when it comes to this department. One of the most notable being a card game called Queen's Blood that consists of 3 rows where the goal is to get the highest score per row and ultimately getting more points than your opponent to win. Sounds easy, right? I found this to be a ton of fun and very addictive, as I wanted to play against everyone I could as I progressed through the game. It also has its own side story associated with it, which further intrigued me to see it through to the end. Some of the classic games make a return too, like Battle Arena, Chocobo Racing, but with new ones like the 3D Brawler, a Fall Guys-like frog minigame that you can find under Junon, and dolphin riding. Whee! For anyone familiar with Final Fantasy VII Remake, you'll know that there are numerous boss battles throughout the game, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is no different. There are dozens of encounters with huge bloomin' monsters trying to get you throughout your journey in Rebirth. These battles are hectic, fast-paced, and a blast to play through. It really forces the player to use all of the gameplay systems to their advantage, whether that's building the boss's stagger bar, using MP to cast damaging spells or heal your party members, or using items when you need to conserve MP or get rid of any detrimental status effects. This is where the game truly shines, and some of the most fun Rebirth has to offer can be found within these encounters. I think my main criticism I have is something I don't want to delve too much into, just for spoiler reasons, but I'm not sure that the ending of the game was handled in the best possible way. To be as vague as I can, there is a pivotal moment in the Forgotten Capital that fans of the OG version are familiar with, and instead of it being a poignant and shocking moment as it was, it turns into quite a confusing sequence of events and trying to figure out exactly what's happening. It didn't ruin the experience for me, but I do feel that it might have taken away from the original intent a bit. However, I do also understand the reasoning behind why it was executed the way it was, and it did lead to a crazy final boss, which I won't spoil. Maybe I could say that with the vast amount of content, it can make it a little bit difficult to stay focused on the story with so much other things to do. But it is optional. So I don't really see the point in making a criticism of that, since it's just complaining about optional game content. Personally, I really wanted to explore all of the content had to offer because I found it so compelling. So to wrap this all up, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a masterclass in JRPG that took all my expectations for a sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake and completely blew the ceiling off this house. From the thrilling combat to exciting exploration, the deep, interesting and rich cast of characters, and the globe-trotting adventure in search of Sephiroth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is now the bar I will be using to measure all future games in this genre. When it was all said and done, I ended up pouring nearly 150 hours into this game, and it may be a lot more, as the trophy list for the Platinum on the PS5 seems steep, but with the game being so much fun, I really want to try, as I've genuinely enjoyed the game that much. A lot of questions were asked at the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Things like, will the story change? Will the characters change? Will the narrative change? Will we see Tifa in a bikini?
Magnifico!
If this is what Square Enix was able to pull off for the middle game of a remake trilogy, then I'm slightly worried how they're going to be able to top this game in the finale. Only time will tell. And speaking of which, I think this game will stand the test of time for generations to come. It may not completely have stuck the landing with the ending, but the vast majority of time with this game was an absolute delight and reminded me why I love video games in the first place. It's for all these reasons that the final verdict for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is 10 out of 10. This doesn't mean it's a perfect game, but like I said, this is a game that all other games in the genre will now be compared to. I truly hope Square can stick the landing when the ending of the trilogy releases in a few years, but until then, the Final Fantasy VII fans have a lot of content to keep them occupied.
Don't want to rush you, but I hope you can finish it soon.
Plus, it'll probably take me about 4 years to get that platinum trophy, as like I said, the hard curve is steep. This game just got to me in a way that very few games do. I was genuinely invested in the characters and their stories, enjoying every minute with them and was eager to see what happened next, but kind of dreading it at the same time. I found myself rushing towards the unknown ending but also not wanting it to be over. But you know what is over now? This review, so why don't you make like a tree and get out of here.
Walking city streets with worn cobblestones, listening to people rushing past to rhythms all their own. Goodbye.